All right, everybody, it's week 6. It is our last week together. It's sad, but it's great because you guys were able to learn so much awesome information. And remember, this week is a short week, so everything has to be in by when does everything have to be in?
Sunday.
Sunday. Yes, Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. So make certain that everything is in by Sunday. If you have any questions, you have issues, anything at all, let me know. You can call me, you can text me, we can go through everything together and make certain that you are golden and you're good to go and you're set. So be certain to call, text, email, whatever, and then we can set up a time. We can set up time tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, that kind of thing. But this week we get to talk about your finances. You have your dream, you have that concept, you know what, you have an idea for marketing. How did you guys enjoy the marketing assignment? Did you anticipate how much money you were actually going to spend on that? Did you realize how much money it was going to be? I'm seeing shaking of heads no. Anybody?
I don't think I spent enough. I think because I'm like, when I'm going to make my budget out, I was like, oh my God, I can cut cuts doing this. I cut and cut, I don't know, maybe. But you ain't graded mine yet, so.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll finish grading everything right after class. But do remember, biggest things is, paying yourself accordingly for your time. That's a big thing right there, especially with social media, because you can get sucked into responding to reviews and Facebook and Instagram and creating those ads for your for the newspapers, for your, like, the little Google ads, all that type of stuff. You have to spend time doing that, and your time is valuable. So you have to pay yourself accordingly.
It was hard to choose 3.
Yes, it is. And that's where it's also good, though, because you at least see the 3, and then you can kind of build from there, right?
Also, real quick, how would I pay myself on internet? Let's say I'm online on Instagram or what have you for like 3 hours. What am I supposed to be doing there? I'm writing down that I worked for 3 hours and I pay myself $75 an hour, and that's how much it costs. What am I?
Yes. So you guys see my calculator? Do you guys know?
No, not yet.
Hold on, let me pull it up. Okay, do you see the calculator? Ta-da. So if you say you're going to pay yourself $75 an hour for doing 3 hours of work, and say you're going to just spend 3 hours a week doing your Instagram, Facebook, social media stuff, then you're just going to times this by 52. And that is how much money you're spending, or this is how much is going into your social media. That's how much time
52
you're spending.
weeks a year, 52 weeks a year, 3 hours a day. 3 hours a week.
Yep.
I'm paying myself $11,700. That's what I should be putting down.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Because your time is of value. Think about and it's not just for social media. Think about if you are doing outreach for your community, say you're volunteering, you're going to go to like the Chamber of Commerce events, anything like that, you're spending time at those events. So you should, and that is you're going to those events, you're passing out business cards, you're meeting and greeting with people, you're spending time, and your time is valuable. So be certain to give yourself the amount of money that you deserve to have, because a lot of times these little types of things is where people just say, oh no, I don't have to pay myself, I'll be good. But you're shortchanging yourself. And then it also helps you really understand, if you have it written down, how much you're actually really doing for the business. So if you do have to hire somebody to do it for you, you have that idea of how many hours you've actually spent doing it, and how much money you want to pay that person to take care of it for you. So it's all about making certain that you compensate yourself, because you have to pay your bills too, right? Because you can't just pay the business bills, you have to pay your bills. And to get started on your business bills, let's take a look at this week. So remember, I have this here. Assignments will be due on Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. All makeup assignments are due on Sunday. And be certain, if you missed a knowledge check, to get those done. They're worth points. So be certain to get those in. And now we get to talk about how to fund your business. I love this part of the week because it's so important. You have to, you have your dream, you know what you want to do, you found the perfect location, but if you don't have the money for it, then nothing's going to happen, right? It's still just going to be a dream. So now we get to go over all of that great stuff that you guys found out. You found out how much marketing was going to cost you. You found out your locations, your demographic. You found out what your competition's looking like. Got all of that stuff down. You found out all the different fees for applications to actually start up that business. And now you get to figure out how much you really need. So when I showed you guys in week 4 all of those delightful spreadsheets, and I showed you my startup costs, because I gave you all of, all the equipment I needed, all that kind of stuff. Now you have a number, like you can take that base number and then figure out how much you're going to ask for from investors, from the bank, all of those things. And I have this in here capitalized where it says avoid borrowing from family, because I don't know about you guys, but I am the youngest and I love my brother and sister dearly, but there is no way I would want them actually in business with me. I would not want to actually borrow any money from my brother and sister. I don't want them telling me what to do, because I'm the youngest. They already tell me what to do. But telling me what to do in my industry, I would not like that at all. I don't know about you guys. Would you like do you like your siblings telling you how to do your job? Do you guys have to deal with that? Nobody? Oh, what? Yeah, no, youngest here. I have to deal with that.
No, my sister makes suggestions all the time, and I just try not to listen.
Yeah, no. I'm like, yeah. Yeah, my brother, I love him dearly. He tried to tell me how cooking chicken is all about timing, and that I don't have to take the temperature of chicken to make sure it's cooked all the way. How do you think that went over? Imagine if I borrowed money from him.
Right.
That would not be pretty. So, and it gets really awkward too. What if something does happen where your business concept doesn't work out and now they lost out on money? Because remember, being an entrepreneur, you're taking risks. It's all about taking risks. And you just have to, you're persistent with it, and you problem solve and you come up with the solutions. And if something does happen, I would feel horrible if I ended up losing like my brother's, if they gave me like, oh, here's your life savings. And if I lost that, I'd feel horrible about it. I wouldn't feel horrible about it if I got it from an investor, because the investors understand the risk. But I would feel horrible about it coming from my brother. And that would make awkward Thanksgivings and holidays with family. So I am, for one, say avoid from the borrowing from family. I would take Bill's suggestion, which is win the lottery. That'd be fantastic. Get your money winning lottery. That'd be awesome. I would do that. But so what can you do besides borrow money from your family? How much money do you actually need? And I gave you guys a delightful slide right here. I found all of these right here that shows the average cost of opening up a restaurant, your food truck. Your food truck's really going to depend on how much, like how big you're going to do, all that kind of, like, you know, the size, where you're located. But the average is around that, you know, $50,000. And then if you wanted to do a bar, if you wanted to do, if you wanted to do a coffee shop, any of that stuff. Iris, we cannot hear you. What is your question? Maybe just type it in, because we can't hear you right now. Or you can leave and then come back and see if that works. But I also wanted to give you guys, if you are interested in franchises, are a great way to start a business, because it gives you the system. You have that system in place. You're buying into that, you're getting that help. So if something happens, they can help you. You have an established brand that is there. I have a friend who he owns 3 franchises right now, and he absolutely loves it. He loves the company, he believes in it. And these are ones that just to show how much money you actually need, and to give you an idea of, you know, the top ones, and if you were ever interested in doing a franchise. Or if you're ever interested, if you see your place and you see that you have the vision, and your vision is to franchise your business itself, now you can have an idea of what it would look like for, you know, what you're going to, what percentage of sales you're going to get back, how much money you're going to have people come to the table to be able to buy your franchise, all that kind of stuff. It's right here for you guys. And then we go into the different types of loans. And you guys are just going to notice I put a boatload of links in here, because it is the last class. I wanted to fill this with as many links as possible for you guys to have that guide to go back to. So please do remember, you can like copy and download like this, all of my slides. That way you can have them for, you know, future reference. And some of these I really, really like, because like this link I really liked, because it really broke down all the different types of loans. So you have your small business loan, your business term loans, line of credit, all the different things. If you say, I don't need too much, I just need equipment, they can show you what everything's looking at. But the one big thing about these that I want to point out is, you guys notice the interest rate. They are 7.9 to 19.9%. That's 8 to 30%. 7 to 25%, 8 to 30%. All of these different rates. What do you think is going to be a factor in you getting a loan? Hello?
Credit score.
Credit
Income.
score. Yes.
Income.
Income. And it is taking your credit score. So remember that, because even though you're doing it for your business, they are going to look at your credit score. So that's where you have to be certain that you do your homework. Is the loan really going to be the best thing for you? How is your credit score? Do you have to work on that and build it up in order to get it to be, get it up high, get it into the 700s, the 800s, where you need it to be in order to get a lower interest rate? Those are things you definitely need to do. I love your answer, Sandra. She put credits, sell organs. That is, donate your kidneys, your lungs, that kind of thing. Love that there. But, let me pull this back up. I also gave you guys this one right here that shows still the same website, but then it shows you the different options for restaurant loans that you guys could consider doing. You have the lines of credit, you have inventory financing, and this website really does a great job of breaking it down, which is why I really like it. Because it'll go over all of the different things that you can do and why it's good, why it could potentially work, and where you can find different areas. And then it tells you a guide of how much you can expect from each of these loans. So I really liked these two websites for you guys if any of you are interested in going the business loan route. Does anybody have any questions about these right here? How many people were thinking of doing a loan? Shantae, you wrote, could you start at home business? And if so, what all do I need? And would I need a loan for anything? And we will actually go over that because we're going to go over cottage law. So boom, we will go over that. That is perfect. And let me move on then, if you guys are good on your loans. Because now we have your different investors. How many people watch Shark Tank? Shark Tank? Anybody? How many people have heard of Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Yeah. Investors, what do? Or you have a group of investors and you have to go up and do your pitch, right? That delightful pitch. And they ask you a boatload of questions, right? They want to know, what your end game is going to be. They want to know how much you actually think your business is going to be worth, how much you anticipate that you need from them. And then they tell you how much of a percentage of, equity or profits, those kinds of things that they actually want from you, right? And there's different kinds of investors. You have your venture capitalists, and they're more in it for the long haul. They're going to give you a lot more money than, say, an angel investor. Angel investors will go up to about 100,000 versus a venture capitalist that they can go anywhere up to like $1 million, right? And they have the venture capitalist, for them, it's that high risk, high reward. So that's where they're going to give you more money, but they expect a high return on their investment. Um, and then you also have crowdfunding. Everybody's heard of crowdfunding before. I mean, people have made movies. Veronica Mars movie came out. It seems like everybody can do some type of crowdfunding for everything nowadays. And I gave you guys, there's actually crowdfunding specifically for food. So if you wanted to start up your own food, like food truck, restaurant, whatever you want, you actually have your own crowdfunding website you can go to. So if you wanted to do it this way, you can definitely do it through them. If you wanted to go the angel investor route, here is links to the top 25 websites and blogs to find those angel investors. I also gave you guys one for the venture capitalists. So if you guys are interested in getting those venture capitalist style investment, you can go to this website here and you can put in your pitch, you can make those connections, and you can figure out which one, like, and who you want to choose to fund your business. And things that you guys need to know that your investors are going to want to know. They want you to have your pitch. Your pitch is typically in PowerPoint presentation. It's usually about 20, 25 slides, and it's going over your concept. So all of that information that we've talked about, you're going to present that in a pitch. All of that basis foundation that you guys have done throughout the 6 weeks, all of that information can go into your pitch. Then your investors are going to want to know what the end game is. What do you guys think I mean by end game?
Profit.
How much are we going to profit?
How much are you going to profit? What else? Avengers? Not quite yet. Close, Sandra, but not quite yet. So for an end game, they want to know what you see the vision being. If somebody decides that they say, I love your idea, I love your concept, I want to buy it. I want to buy your business, and I'm going to buy it for $20 million. And you've been working on your business and concept for so many years. Now, are you going to be happy with $20 million? Or do you think you should be making $40 million off of this deal? You can go the other way and then say, what if you are losing money? How much money are you going to lose before you decide that you're going to sell it or you're just going to close? That's part of that end game conversation that your investors are going to want to know. Does that make sense to people?
Not really. So the end game is like your mission coupled with how much you're trying to make off of what you're doing?
Your end game is, what if, Archie, you decided that all of a sudden your business is losing money? How much money is acceptable for you to lose? And that answer to that question is part of your end game. Because if you decide that your business is not profiting, it's been losing money for, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You're about to go on Kitchen Nightmares. Or not Kitchen Nightmares, what is it? What's the Gordon Ramsay one where he goes to the kitchen, rescue kitchen? Or you're almost to that point, because you see those people on those shows, right? And
4 hours to hell.
Yeah, like they've lost like millions of dollars. Is millions of dollars acceptable to you to lose? And that's part of that end game, because that's where you have to decide, do you want to stop what you're doing try a different like stop the business and try something else.
But that's just a part of the end game, right?
No,
You're
it
saying,
is. It is a part of the end game. That's part of that long conversation. But that's something that your investors are going to want to know. They want to know if you know, if you have answers to those type of questions.
so the questions are like, if you're about to, when everything's about to crumble, if the chips are all on the table, that kind of thing is what you're saying. What is your end game to, like, if you're about to fail?
Yes.
How do you come out of that?
Yes. Or it could be the exact opposite too, Archie. It could be what if somebody comes and wants to buy your business? How much do you think your business is worth? How much do you want to get out of it? So a good example would be Laura Bar. How many people have heard of Laura Bar? You get, like, it's a bar. It was created in Denver. It has like 4 ingredients in all of it. It was created in Denver by this lady. It's a health bar. And as soon as it went on to The Biggest Loser, and with, was it Jillian Michaels saying that it was like, this is a great product, boom, it exploded. And is it Nestle, I think, bought her out? Nestle or like one of those bigger, like General Mills, one of those ones bought her out, because it got to that point where you could sell out if you wanted to. So how much do you think you would want to sell your business for? Like, do you think that if you put all this time and effort that you'd want to sell it for 500,000, for $1 million, for 2 million, for 20 million? Because remember, those investors want to know that, because they're going to get a percentage of that, right? If you sell your establishment to somebody else, they're getting their money back. They're going to get a percentage. So they want to know how much you think you would actually want to sell your business for. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm saying yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And those are part of that conversation that you have to do in the beginning. You don't want to think about it when it gets to that point of either being super successful or not doing well. You want to have those conversations in the very beginning, like right now, so that you have that guideline to go off of. You understand where you want to be, and it makes everybody be on the same page, because you have to have clear communication, especially when you're going to bring in partners, investors. If you are going to have family members helping you out, you want to have those conversations in the beginning. And Archie, what if they want to buy it, but you want to keep running it? I have a friend who did this very same thing. They sold their restaurant. That was the restaurant that I helped them with. And they sold their restaurant, but they just wanted to like come in and make sure everything was like quality assurance, that type of thing. And they did that and they liked it. But after 2 years, they let them go.
I was saying, like, sometimes who buys it from you wants you to run it like that?
Oh yeah, no, and they did, like, that's what they had him do. They had him run that section, and then they had him training like somebody under him. And as soon as that person was trained well enough, they let him go. So you can have it where you can, or you can even go, I have another friend who does like quality assurance, right? Where like they just go around and make certain everything looks good. That's what their job is, to make sure that the systems and the policies are in place. And you do say, wow, but this is where you have, Shantae, but this is where you have to remember, it's important to have everything in writing and to have that clear communication, because you don't want to be stuck in a position where you were not prepared for. So that's why I'm always saying to you guys, if you get anything out of this class, it's to research. Do your research, do your homework to make certain that you are prepared. Heather, you had your hand up first.
Yeah, I didn't know if you saw my comment. Exit strategy.
Oh, yes.
Exit strategy.
Yep. Yeah. End game also is an exit strategy. Yes, that's the same thing. Thank you. Sandra, what is your question?
So is this kind of like your vision that you're selling to your investors? Because you got to sell yourself in order to get in. So is this kind of like what you're trying to do?
Yeah, especially when you're trying to find that investor, like you want to make them believe in your dream. Your vision of what the possibilities are with your business. And I can even pull up, I did a pitch that I can pull up for you guys so you can get an idea if you would like. Mise en place. Remember this one? So I have all of this great information, the mission statement, the vision. I put what our product was, where we were located in delightful Fort Collins, Colorado. I gave the population, average family income, all of that information you guys had to look up before. I had to do the same thing. Where we were going to have the location. We want to grow on a global scale. Meeting the team. You're doing strategies for success. I have schedules. I had all of that stuff and it's in here. But, this is just an example. So you can have your pitch be whatever. This is the one that I did, but it kind of gives you that guide as to, what to expect, what the investors are going to want to see from you. That is also why I gave you guys that link to, let me pull it back up, to your, to having your pitch ready. So this right here is a great link that gives you the different questions that your bank investors may ask. Like, who's your competition? What does your market look like? Traction, the risks, all this type of stuff is on here for you guys so that it gives you a good guide to what of what you will have. And then, so pretty much, yes, Archie, you can just save all of my, instead of just copying all my links, you can just save all of my, my slides, and then you'll just have it there. And then Heather, what did you mean by BA or AB?
Sorry, I was talking to Archie and Bill.
Oh, okay. Okay. But then now we get to decide, and it's important to know what type of investors you want to get, because it'll also help you understand what type of business entity you're going to create. Because you have different options for the type of entity. So when I say entity, I mean are you going to be a sole proprietorship versus a partnership versus the LLC, the corporation? How you decide to go, the type of entity you decide will help you understand the type of the structure that you're going to have for your business. And it also help you understand your taxes, because a big part of choosing the entity is all about your taxes, right? Sole proprietorships and partnerships, do remember you still have the risk on you. So if you lose everything, like if the business goes bankrupt, people still can come after you. They can get your house, they can get your car, all of that stuff. So if you decided, well, I'm just going to do a sole proprietorship and something happens, you can get sued and they can go after you for what you have. That is why typically you want to do something like an LLC. An LLC takes away that liability. So that if somebody sues you, somebody sues the business, they're not going to get to you. Does that make sense to people? Yes? Okay. Another big thing with your LLC, if you do decide to do it with people, you're going to have members. And if you decided that you're going to have an LLC and you are going to be the owner, this is where it's important to put it in writing, like that it's going to be member managed, and it's going to be member managed by you. And this is where an LLC is it's a great one because it helps you, it's more flexible on how you have it set up for your taxes. So if you're going into business by yourself and you do an LLC, you have to be careful because you will be taxed like a sole proprietorship. If you're going in with partners, you'll be taxed like as a partnership. But you can set it up to be more like a corporation. So you can set up your LLC and have it taxed like an S Corp. So those are things that you want to kind of look at. Or maybe you decide, I'm going big, I'm going to go big, or go home and I'm going to do a corporation. You have all of these different types of corporations that you can choose from. The big differences between them is your C Corp. That's the big ones where you have over 100 or more shareholders. S Corp is limited. You can only have up to 100. But you also, for people who are like, well, maybe I want to do an S Corp, this is where knowing where you're getting your investors from is very important. Because for an S Corp, you need to be a U.S. citizen in order to be part of the company, part of like being a member, being an investor. We had a group a group of investors that we were working with, and one of them was from the Philippines. So we weren't able to do an S Corp. We had to do an LLC, but we taxed it like an S Corp so that you get better. It's better for taxing wise. And that's why the entities and the investors are kind of entwined, because you never know where you're going to find these investors, especially if you go online. You can find people who are interested in, your dream. You can find them anywhere. So it's just a matter of understanding what you want to do. And Vince, if I had my choice between a sole proprietorship, a partnership, or an LLC, I will pick the LLC every time, because the LLC gives you that protection. Does that make sense to everybody? Heather?
Is it more expensive?
It depends on your state. It really does depend on your state. You can, the easiest one to put together is that sole proprietorship by far, but you have more of that risk involved. And like say in Massachusetts, an LLC I think costs like $500 to put up, but in Colorado it costs like $50. So it really just depends on where you live, which is why you guys went and looked at all of those awesome those websites and stuff for week 2. So now you know where to look for all that stuff. And Jay, you asked if you can change it later. You can change it later. But it does get more difficult, and you're gonna want to have have a lawyer help involved helping you make those changes. So and then for those who are considering doing like a nonprofit, they do have nonprofits that you can actually corporations that you can do, which may work out better for you, especially if you're going to have, if you're going to have different organizations come in and say you're going to teach people how to cook, but it's going to be, families, low income families, that kind of thing. You can tie that all in and turn that into like a nonprofit corporation. Now, if we go to co-ops, how many people have heard of co-ops? Yes, Bill, what's a co-op?
If I'm not mistaken, it's where two different businesses share the same facility or marketplace, so to speak.
Yeah, well, and it can be more than one bit, like more than two businesses, right? Because it's a whole, it's a giant membership, right? Where
it's right.
No, but it is there, but no, that's good. What you said is fantastic. It's like a membership, and there are advantages versus disadvantages. Doing a co-op can be easier to get into, and it's easier for you to have that extra help, because maybe somebody in that co-op is a really strong business person, and they can help you along with, guide you with your business. But it also can be tricky because some venture capitalists, they don't see the appeal. They don't have as much of an incentive to get from it. So that's where you just have to decide what's good and what's not for your establishment. And I gave you guys a link to the different food co-ops. I like this article because it was across America. So I'm hoping that it'll reach, throughout. So you guys throughout. And you can go to it and it shows you all the different co-ops, like these top 10 ones, and it gives you an idea of what, if you like this or not, if you want to be a part of something like this. So that's why I liked this one here, because then you can decide if you're in Sacramento, you can check out the Sacramento Food Co-op. And the nice thing about this too is that they can help each other with different avenues, such as they can all have, have their webpage together. They can help each other with marketing. They can make certain that, everybody works together in a community. And then another one, is that I don't have on, where is my cottage law one? Do I have it on here? Is cottage laws. So cottage, I don't see it on here. Let me find it. And then this page was a bunch of links that I wanted you guys to just have, which will help you for resources for businesses. This one's the IRS version for the business structure, because remember, it's all about your taxes. You got to pay your taxes. It's about the different types of entities that you guys can look at. I liked this one because it had that advantages versus disadvantages, and it goes into more detail for you guys. So I wanted to make certain that you guys had this one. And then, let me go. And then it's all about the entities. talks about equity on this one. And then I really like this guy. This guy, I actually really enjoy how he has set up his company. He is in Canada. He comes from a line of dairy farmers, Bill Vanderkoop, and he got his master's at Michigan State or something like that. And he decided he wanted to control every aspect of his product. And so he created the feed to feed to his cows. He has the farms where his cows are. He controls all the delivery, like all the freight part of it, the transportation, and then where you can buy it. So he created a holding group, this Nutrivia group that's a holding group, and these are all of the businesses that are underneath this group and that he has created to make certain that he could control every aspect of the products. And I loved how he set it up, and he's a super nice guy. And that's where I wanted to share that one with you guys, because if you ever thought about doing that style of vertical integration, that is a great way to look at it, especially for those who want to do your farm to table. If you want to do a farm to table aspect, and you're going to have it on the farm, that's part of that vertical integration that you can create. And then you can, and then there's cottage laws, which for some reason I do not have on here, but we can talk about. How many people have heard of cottage laws? Heather?
They're rare. They are rare. They're doing business in your home, especially with food. It's really hard because DHEC and all that stuff.
Yeah, but you can, like it, and different, it's like everything else that you guys have learned, different states have different versions of cottage laws, but it allows you to be able to make stuff from your home and then sell it on, like at the farmers markets. And each state is different and they all have different ones. And I'm surprised I don't have a link on there, and I will give one to you guys, and I'll do a little slide that shows the cottage laws also. But that's another way that you can go about it is, if you are going to start off small, you can start doing, like, going through cottage laws and getting in through the farmer's market, and then you can slowly grow from there. So that's another way that you can start your business off if you want to start it off small, and then you can grow. And then for this assignment this week, we have the funding. So how much money will you need to start your concept? I gave you guys those rough average estimates in that slide. So I highly suggest like going off of those and seeing, if that's in your proximity. The sources of funding that you think will work best for you, because maybe a small business loan is not going to be the best bet. Maybe doing crowdsourcing will be better for you, or maybe doing an angel investor will be better for you. And then saying why, and then who will own your business, and how will the ownership be structured, and why did you decide this was the best option? And this also reminds me of when you are deciding who's going to be a part of your business and who you are going to allow to be a part of this dream with you. Like with the end game, you have to have those awkward conversations in the beginning. So for example, if you were going to set up an LLC, and I'm going to set it up with my 3 partners, and we all have husbands, we all have kids. What happens if I die? Is my husband going to inherit my share? Is it going to go to my son? Am I going to let buy my husband out of my shares. Those type of extremely awkward conversations you kind of have to do in the beginning so that if something does happen, you already have it in writing. Bill, what's your question?
We money
Bill, you're breaking up. Your Wi-Fi froze on.
banked away or don't.
Wait, Bill, say that again. Okay. Say it again. You broke up.
I'll just type it.
Okay. But
Can you hear me?
Nah, broke up again.
Real quick, Chef, could you answer Shantae's question that's in the chat, and then mine possibly?
Yeah, sure. What was what if you have two partners with your LLC, but you want to leave and start your own business with an LLC? Could that be possible without any problems? Would you want that LLC? Are you taking that LLC, or are you starting something different?
I'm not taking that LLC, but I'm starting something different.
Is it something that's similar to what you already do?
No, because they're doing like an entertainment thing as far as like bouncy houses and just providing that for other customers. And I'm doing basically the bringing food as far as bakery, like making
The baking
cakes
stuff?
and yeah.
Then it shouldn't be a problem. Where you would run into problem is like if you were going to like leave an LLC and start something that's like exactly the same, you know, then you're going to run into issues because you could potentially take trade secrets and use them in your LLC. So that can be an issue.
Okay.
And then Archie, what was your question?
It was about incorporation because I've been incorporated already. So what is the difference with that one?
So, so when you say you're already incorporated, what do you mean? Like
I've been incorporated for I think the last 3 years. Where we went through, I have the paperwork, I have the binder, I have the attorney and all that kind of thing, and I send in a report and all that every year. And
okay, so you're just a corporation.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, you're fine. You can have a corporation.
How is that? I mean, but because that wasn't discussed, I was asking, is that better or worse than an LLC, or is it?
Oh no, that is. Yeah, no, that's there. It's just all about, Archie, like it's all about your taxes. It's however you set it up for your taxes. Mm-hmm. So like when they showed the S Corp and the C Corp, you know, those differences between there. So if you do hello? If you do a corporation, that just means you have a better net to be able to really expand out. So if you wanted to become, if you wanted to be traded on the stock market, you could be traded on the stock market, that kind of thing.
That's as a corporation.
Yes.
And isn't it like, because they say, because all I kept hearing is like, if you want to hide yourself or if you don't want to have people tracking you or something like that, that's the best way to be in a corporation.
Well, that's the best way to be for if you don't want to have that, like that liability come at you. So say if somebody gets food poisoning from a product recall, like food poisoning from your establishment, and they decide to sue you. They can sue the business, but they can't sue you. It also helps with your insurance.
Right.
And then you did it right. Like if you have that board of directors, you taking those notes and doing all that stuff, then you're spot on for your corporation. So there's no problem with how you have it set up. Like that's,
okay. I was just wondering if I might not have made the right choice because I didn't see you guys talking. We didn't talk about it like that. So I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done an incorporation. Maybe I should have done an LLC or something. That's all.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's there. And I had the different corporations. Let me pull up my slide for you again.
Oh, I must have missed it if I didn't.
Yeah, let me pull up my slide. Because there's different versions of corporations that you can have. I just got to get back to the slide. Ha. So this one right here is what you did. And there's just different versions of it that you can have.
Okay, I got it now.
Yeah. And you can set up a corporation. If you have that vision to set it up that way, that's awesome. Then yeah, I say go for it. If you say like, I'm going to set it up because I'm going to be like, like McDonald's, I'm going to blow up and we're going to go global. Then yeah, I say definitely set it up for a corporation. And one good thing to do with this also is to make certain to, when I say having those awkward conversations, get help. Get help from a lawyer. I always have a lawyer come in, and especially for the different styles of business that you're going to choose, they have different lawyers for that. You can get a lawyer who can help you set up a small business and guide you through the steps. And they can also help you understand those awkward conversations that you do have to have if you do decide to partner up with people. Because you just don't want to, I'd rather be prepared than have it get ugly. So you kind of want to get all of those kind of conversations out of the way and have it signed. It may not be pretty, but in the beginning, but at least everybody is understanding their role and what could happen, from the beginning. Does that make sense for people? Yeah. What's Chante?
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah, because you want to make certain that, get that legal, that type of paperwork and conversations done in the beginning. Because yeah, what if something did happen and, one of my partners decided to get divorced? Because then you don't want to have that awkwardness where the husband could be trying to take shares of the company that he was never a part of, but he was married to my partner, and now he's going to try to get half of her equity. And now I have to deal with him when I never wanted to deal with him. Those kind of scenarios, they happen. And you don't ever want to say, well, you could potentially get divorced. You don't want to think about those kind of things, but you kind of do have to get that done in the beginning. And it'll actually really help you in the conversation. One of the lawyers that we used, he was telling me how it got so heated, and there was 4 founders. It got so heated that they would only speak to each other with lawyers present during that part. And that was wow. I'm like, if they're already heated at this point and they haven't even started the business yet, how is the business going to go? How is that gonna, is that gonna make it, because if you have to, if you can only handle talking to your partners through lawyers, it's not gonna last very long. So
That's not gonna end well at all.
Yeah, no, it's not. So that's where it is better to have those in the beginning, and then and then you can really see what happens. I was in one where we were going along and it was going smoothly, but then yeah, we realized that the communication wasn't there. It wasn't going to work out. And then we were like, okay, you know what? We're not going to do this one together. And then we just split our ways. But it was no harm, no foul, because we had that conversation in the beginning and we saw how it was going to go. So shockingly, it's already been an hour. Can you believe it?
Wow.
I want to say it has been a pleasure having you guys in class. I've loved it. I hope you guys learned a lot. And I hope if you have any questions still to contact me and let me know, and we can go through things together.
Bill does.
What did you say, Archie?
Bill asked a question.
Oh, Bill? Yeah. What's your question, Bill? Okay. Should we include 3 months reserve operating capital in our initial figure? I would say yes, because that's a smart move to have at least that 3 months of capital, because you want to make certain that you have that cushion. So I would say go for that. Definitely.
Vince got one.
Look at you, Archie. You're on it. Thank you. A partnership is a different form of an LLC. So a partnership, no, the partnership is just Archie and I decided that we're going to get together and we're going to do that business together. So we're just going to be partners. But if I was going to be an LLC, I can decide that he is going to be, we are going to be members. And then, but this is where, sorry, it gets a little confusing, because with an LLC, if you do have a partner, and if you don't set up your LLC the way you want it to be, the IRS will look at it as will tax you as a partnership. You will still be an LLC, but you're going to be taxed like a partnership. Versus, I'm sorry, what, Vince?
The reason I asked is I am in a partnership with my mother in the owning of this restaurant.
Okay.
And when I did sign up for everything, I did it as a sole membership or a sole proprietorship.
Okay.
But the lawyer that I had helped me sign this up as an LLC. And now my accountant, who's doing my taxes, business taxes, says I have to change my EIN to a partnership.
Yes. Well, and that's where it's up to you too, Vince. Like you, because if you are doing it with, like, and you said your mother-in-law?
No, my mother.
Oh, your mother? So since there's two of you there, they will tax you like a partnership. If it was just you in that LLC, then it would be a sole proprietorship. So if your lawyer didn't know that you were doing it with your mom, he just signed you up for that sole proprietorship taxation.
In the beginning, we had decided that we were gonna do it as just myself, but then our accountant told us like 6 months ago to do it as a dual or a partnership, so that we're both taxed on the business and not just me personally.
Yes. Yes.
Because we both take money out of the business to pay the bills.
Yes. So yeah, you will want to change that then.
So the question I have though is, since it's one place, like the IRS is registered as the sole, and as the treasurer, the lawyer did as an LLC, do I have to tell the accountant we're an LLC and it'll be different than what we're doing now?
You can tell them, I would tell them that it is an LLC, but now you want to change it to be a, wait, so you set it up fully as an LLC or fully as a sole proprietorship with the lawyer?
In the beginning, when I had to get my EIN number to be a business owner, we did it as a sole proprietorship.
Okay.
And
so yeah.
then as I started talking to the lawyer, he suggested doing the LLC because of the whole suing thing.
Okay, so
I got sued.
Okay, yes, and then and then he did do that that paperwork for the LLC for you, correct?
Yes, he did all of that for me.
Okay, so that's good. So then you don't have to do as much paperwork then. So that's good. So yeah, you just need to kind of switch it to that tax. But Vince, you could also look at, I would also talk to your accountant to see if it would be better to do, instead of just doing it as a, taxing you as a partnership, instead taxing you like an S Corp, because that might be a better way for you to go.
Okay.
So I would ask your accountant about that. Ask him if taxing you like a partnership versus a S Corp is going to be better, because he will know your business more. He'll see your books and then see what he says, because that will help.
Okay. Sounds good. I have to go talk to him anyway. So thank you very much, Chef.
Yeah, no problem. And then Heather, what was your question?
She wanted to go over the lesson again.
Oh, which part?
Just
the whole
assignment. Oh, okay, the assignment. I thought you meant the entire the entire hour. And I was like, oh, okay.
Let's go.
Hold on. Yes, let me pull it back up. All right. So remember, concept summary, that delightful description that you created in week 1, you're putting in here again. So put your concept description that you made in here, and then a realistic estimate of the money that you think you're going to need. So remember this, let me go back. Haha, this one right here. I gave you guys this with the links where I found it from, so that you have that idea, like restaurant owner, of how much it could potentially cost you. Because I didn't want you guys to like shoot in the dark. I wanted you to guys see what the average was, and then the things are here so that you can be able to get an estimate of how much money you need for your establishment.
What about being like a private chef or caterer then?
Yeah, private chef or caterer. Do I have one on there for that? Do I not? Ooh, I don't. I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to put that in there.
$250. Boom, I'm in there.
Awesome. So yeah, I'll put that one in there. And then the best source of funding, what you think is going to be the best. So I gave you guys all of these. That's why I gave you these links, because it gave you, like, if you're like, I'm going to do a loan, then you can say, okay, well, which loan are you going to do? You have all of these different loans to choose from. But you guys didn't realize there were so many loans out there, huh? Did you guys realize that there were that many for your, equipment financing? Just the startup loan. If you just want to have the loan for just startup, they'll give you $150K for that.
The equipment financing, I had no clue about that.
Yeah, right? And then, or if you guys wanted to go the investor route, you can say, I want to do an angel investor. Just remember, angel investors, they are not angels. That is for certain. They still want their money. I don't know why they call themselves angel investors, but they're going to still want their money. And then why you think that's going to be good. And then explain who's going to own your company and how it's going to be structured. So I gave that example of the LLC. And if Bill decided to have an LLC and Archie is going to be an investor, he still wants to have equity in it, so he's going to be part owner, but Archie is going to be silent. That means that Bill is going to be member manage the business. So you put like member managed by Bill. And then that way they know who's doing what. Or like Archie, he has his corporation already set up and he has his board of members that he has to do board meetings, notes, all that stuff. And he has to discuss everything with the board, and Bill is on his board. And now you're going to decide who's going to be like CEO, who's director of operations, all those fun titles for each other. And then you can just submit it. You can do your own Word document, or you can write it all in here. It is up to you. Like if you want to do a Google Docs link, or if you just want to put it right in here, you can. It is up to you guys. Is that good, Heather? Does that work? Okay, cool. Does anybody else have any questions for me? No way? No way? Well, it has been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure teaching you guys. I've had fun. I hope you guys had fun. If anybody does have questions, let me know and we can go over it together. And I wish you guys the best in your next class, which is it farm to table? Are you guys in farm to table next?
You're teaching it.
I'm not teaching farm to table. I'm teaching that one. I think no, you're gonna have Chef Gregory as your evaluator, and then Chef Catherine, I believe. Oh, that's a solid team. Chef Gregory, I think Chef Catherine's teaching farm to table.
Catherine who? Stanton?
Yes.
Yeah, we had her for CA 102.
Oh, cool.
She's used to us.
Yeah, nice. And then you'll have Chef Gregory. Chef Gregory, he rocks. He was executive chef of Key Bank. He and did all hotels and all that kind of stuff. So he has awesome stories, especially for those who want to do the corporate style, the corporate style hotel, event center, all that kind of stuff. So he'll tell you all sorts of fun stories. All right. Well, I hope everybody has a fabulous week, and be certain to get everything in by Sunday, because remember, Sunday is your last day. Oh, and remember to do your surveys. If you do your surveys, you get extra credit. So be certain to do the surveys for extra credit. And no, Archie, I'm not teaching any other classes right now. You're funny, Bill. I'm not teaching any other classes. This is the last class you have with me. So that's why I said keep in touch. If you guys have questions, just holler. We can go through any of your questions. And then have a fabulous week. And if you have, if you need any help this weekend, just reach out and we can go through it all together, okay?
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good one, Chef.
Have a great one.